Helen.
And I'm Liz.
And we're sisters,
Scientists.
and lifelong X-Files fans.
And this is We Want to Believe.
All right. Hello. We're back.
Hello. Welcome, colleagues.
Welcome, colleagues. Welcome, Britt. Britt is one of my colleagues who's listening.
Ooh, actual colleague. As far as I know, none of my colleagues are listening. If they are, they're keeping quiet about it.
One of your colleagues keeps popping up on my LinkedIn connections.
Really?
He's not seeking me out, but it's just people or that sort
weird.
of thing. And it's this one colleague of yours just over and over again.
Is it
funny.
Gokul?
No.
Oh, weird. I mean, Gokul's come up on this podcast before because he also thought my hair was black and was part of that conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, I don't have much today.
Okay.
I mean, I'll go over the episode, obviously. I
was going to say, do you not have much because you didn't watch it or something? That'd be...
It's a 3-parter. This was a 3-parter.
Oh, no. Oh, this will be interesting for me to jump back in and watch parts 1 and 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So next week is Paperclip.
Oh my God. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I feel like there wasn't that much substance to this episode. I mean, something pretty big happened and, there's stuff going on, but it felt like the middle of a 3-parter. It felt like,
okay.
I would have been pretty annoyed had I been watching this in 95, 96 and waited after that cliffhanger. And now I have to wait again.
You still don't have resolution.
Yes.
Yeah. And I mean, I feel like now we're starting season 3 when we're getting into the X-Files is a huge phenomenon. And some of the best episodes are in season 3. I'm very excited. So
I had a dream last night that we were recording and you were talking about how you don't like season 3 because it's it has a different feel to it and they're recording somewhere else, which I don't think they are yet. I don't think
that's
LA,
not until season. Right? No, that's not until season 6.
Yeah.
And I like season 6 just fine. That's so funny. Oh my God.
Yeah. And it's all just commercial now and it's all downhill.
What a random dream. That's interesting. Yeah.
I've been very overworked. So it shows the recap from last week.
Which we left off with Mulder was in a train car in the desert that Cancer Man had exploded. And it was filled with the bodies of aliens, it looked like, or the skeletons of them.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. And that's where we are. And Albert is narrating. Albert is the older Navajo man who was doing the translating for them.
Yeah.
And to remind everyone, there was this tape that had data on it, and it's this whole big thing, and it's
supposed to have the Department of Defense's history of all their communications about UFOs and stuff.
Right. And it has Scully's name on it in those files.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Mulder's dad's name in very different context.
Yes, that too. Mulder's dad, last episode, killed by Krychek.
Right.
Remember. So
let me ask the question. Was X in this episode?
No, he was not.
Huh.
Yeah.
All right.
And I remembered at the end of the last episode, I said something like, I remember how Mulder is saved. I actually remember a different situation with Mulder X in a train car. I recalled something else.
Interesting. Okay.
So it shows the fire in the train car with Mulder below. And then Albert is narrating and we see some military folks and cigarette smoking man break into Albert's house.
Oh.
And he's demanding to know where Mulder is and where the files are because he set the train car on fire thinking Mulder wasn't inside of it. Right.
Yeah, he seemed real confident he wasn't in there for a pretty quick search, I thought. But okay.
Yeah. I mean, it can't be that big. I mean,
I guess if it's just a single train car. Yeah.
So then we see Scully pulling up to Albert's house. The army guys left. And the one man who I think is his son is tending to Albert and him and his grandson. So 3 generations, the oldest and the youngest, are both beat up pretty badly, but okay.
Oh, okay.
And so Albert kind of tells Scully what happened. And so she runs to the train car and starts calling for Mulder. And then we get the intro. So then we see Scully driving at night and a helicopter.
And it just says the truth is out there?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Just checking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And a helicopter suddenly flies out from behind her and stops in front of her car. And they, get out and search her and where are the files?
Oh, wow. Okay.
And she says the files are in the trunk. And they must have been like they were paper files. I think it was not the disc.
It was the stuff that she was getting translated or whatever from Navajo into English. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And they were like, nope, we need a different copy. And she says, well, sorry, I don't have it. Mulder does. So there's a lot of back and forth. Like there's a lot of scene switching. There's a lot of moving between plots. I mean, it's a good episode, but it just, again, it felt very much like the middle of a 3-parter.
Okay. Yeah.
So we see Scully in Skinner's office, and she's getting a leave of absence without pay due to her insubordination.
Oh, right. Because she didn't go to that meeting with him and was driving Mulder across to the desert. Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. After he'd been shot. Yes.
Yes. And tells him that to the best of her knowledge, Mulder is dead. And I have to wonder if she doesn't actually think, she doesn't seem that upset for how upset I would think she would be if she actually thought he was dead. But
I
don't know. So Skinner comes out to talk to her, and they argue a bit about him sanctioning this investigation and lending, credence to all of this. And Scully goes down to their office and opens Mulder's desk drawer, and you see where the tape had been hidden. So a little case is taped up to the top of his drawer.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And it's empty though. The case is empty. So the files are not there.
Okay.
Then this is exciting. Then we see the syndicate for the first time.
Oh my God. I forgot about the syndicate, which is ridiculous, but now I can totally picture it. It's it's cigarette smoking man's gang or whatever, right? Yeah. They're a bunch of dudes in business suits who sit around a conference table.
Yeah.
I think
make evil decisions, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah. God, I forgot about them.
Yeah. So we see Well-Dressed Man. Do you remember Well-Dressed Man?
Wait, Well-Dressed Man.
Some places also call him Well-Manicured Man. Yeah.
Was he older? These are none of them are young, but
older white men. there's...
Yeah. I'm Googling it, but I'm getting, do you mean Sharp Dressed Man by ZZ Top? Oh my God. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I know him. Yeah. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
John Neville is the actor.
Ah.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, I was very excited when I saw that.
I totally forgot about that guy. Now he ends up being not as bad, maybe? Do I remember that correctly?
Yeah. That was my impression from this episode as well. That seems to be what I remember. And so Scully shows up at her mom's house late at night, and she's upset, and she says she's made a terrible mistake. Oh, which made me think of Job from Arrested Development.
I've made a huge mistake.
Yeah. So then we see Albert we hear Albert narrating again, and he says that the men didn't come back. They, the military guys left them alone, but that some kids knock on their door because they've seen buzzards flying above the quarry.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Also, how do they know is that because they know that they're looking for Mulder? Otherwise I feel I don't know, my neighbors don't usually be like, hey, just in case you're curious, this is where we saw some birds. So presumably they knew that.
Presumably. So Albert also says that apparently he had once found a body in the quarry, but that even the buzzards wouldn't touch it. So implying alien bodies.
Oh.
Yeah.
Huh. Buzzards don't like aliens. Okay. Maybe the green blood is bad for them or something?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. Yeah. I I also didn't want to touch that. So I didn't think about it too much.
Fair enough. Yeah.
But they, thought there was something large and dead. So I don't know if it was or close to death. There's in all of this, there's like an undertone that I don't feel like I am properly equipped to analyze, but that makes me slightly uncomfortable. Like, so there's a lot of Albert narrating and talking in metaphors a lot and like sharing his wisdom. And it's hard because like, I don't want to discount the fact that there are a lot of Native elders that have different beliefs than I do and that, would share information differently. But I also don't know if it's just them treating him like a stereotype. So I don't know. There's a lot of that in this episode. And I mean,
is this the one where he starts with like a white buffalo was born?
No, different one. Must be. Maybe it's Paperclip. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
I know what you mean. And I feel like it doesn't feel balanced out for me by enough of like stuff of seeing him as a normal character. And maybe that's what it would take, would be if there was enough of him or other characters who are Native American or something. I mean, it's certainly handled better than in, oh God, what was that one episode? Shapes. Yeah. Although I believe that I have redone the episode Shapes, you'll recall. Yeah.
Yeah. It's about shapes.
It's about shapes appearing in this. This woman living in the neighborhood, her belongings start making different weird shapes. And it turns out to be the new person living in the neighborhood was someone she bullied. And once she like apologizes and makes amends, she stops having weird shapes in her house. So that's what Shapes is about, according to us. But according to the X-Files, I mean, it's better than that, but also is that good enough? And I know what you mean. Right. Like, it does have a little bit of a like, mystical sort of thing. Right.
But I also don't want to discount the fact that like, there are traditions that I'm unfamiliar with that might seem, so there's a lot of that in this episode though.
And I guess what you said makes sense of like, you're not equipped to analyze it.
Yeah. Right.
But you feel like probably it bears analysis.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So they get closer to where the buzzards are circling. Speaking of which, since this isn't a very episode I have a lot to say about, there's like basically no science. I once was convinced there was a dead body off of 94. Because I would.
Oh, see, I was expecting this to be like when we were kids, but then once you said 94, I knew that wasn't the case.
No, when I was, married with children in graduate school, and would be driving from Madison to UWM in Milwaukee. And there was a period of time when I saw so many vultures flying over this one spot in the woods.
Okay, that is 94. Weird.
I know.
That is weird. And maybe it was a body.
Yeah, I mean, or a body of
something else,
something, right?
Yeah. It doesn't have to be a human. Yeah.
But I kept being like, should I? And then no, I'm not. No, I'm not doing that.
We've seen the big Sandhill cranes are in our neighborhood again, so that's exciting.
Oh, does that have to do with?
They're birds.
Okay.
The birds.
Okay.
In other bird news. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I was thinking about the idea of someone running and telling me the location of birds. And I was thinking about how in our neighborhood group on Facebook, people do often be like, the cranes are here and post photos of them. So
they're dinosaurs.
Is kind of similar. They are. They like walk down the sidewalk like they're going for a walk or something. They're awesome. So
what does Archer think of them?
He's never really seen them, honestly. He's like, if he's outside for a long time, he's behind a fence, and we've never run into them on our walks. So
no, but like not from the window or anything.
They don't usually walk by our house. They usually stay like on a slightly different part of the neighborhood where there's a little bit more green space because it's pretty tight with houses where we are. So, like Adam will see them when he's jogging or if we're taking a walk or driving through the neighborhood or something. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know what Archer would do. I have to imagine he'd bark at them. He barks at rabbits, which I feel like is weird. Like, I think he thinks they're a type of dog. So.
Aw.
Yeah.
So they get closer. They see like some hands sticking out from beneath some rocks. So there's like a bunch of big boulders, and you can kind of see some hands underneath, and it's Mulder, right?
Oh, yeah.
So they unbury him. They say that he would have died if he hadn't been buried because he was protected from the sun. And so they put him in a hogan and put leaves in the corners. And Albert is kind of explaining like the Blessing Way ritual and how they're going to perform the Blessing Way chant.
Which is the name of the episode.
Yes. And the Blessing Way is a healing ritual from the what is now the Southwest United States. And it, from what I could tell, the Navajo have performed this ritual. I didn't find that much information about the actual ritual itself, which I felt like, well, that's fine. They don't have to tell me if they don't want to. Like, you know, if there's not a lot of information, like, except for I don't feel that way about things that could tangentially relate to me. For example, I really want to know what the Freemasons are up to. I do want to know specifically. You know, I do feel entitled.
Really boring. I bet so too. Like, I bet, and not even in a like, oh, that's a letdown way, but in an absolutely tedious way. Like, I bet if I had to sit through a Freemasons event, I would just be like, oh my God, you guys think you're so cool and you're so old and boring and like, ugh. I don't know. That's my instinct.
I think that's probably
Freemasons. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
I feel like, are they just kind of like a fancier moose club? Like, I don't know.
I think so, unless they're doing all sorts of wild stuff and they put up a good front for all these years.
It's not that good of a front, though, because nobody, I think it's if the Moose Club is doing stuff, that's a good front. So,
that's true.
Yeah.
It reminds me, this whole conversation, of when I read the book Pledge. You read that book too.
Oh, yeah. About sororities. Yeah.
Yes. And at the time I was reading it, I was dating a guy who was in a fraternity, and
was it the engineering frat though?
Yes. I mean, yes.
Okay.
That bears
it's slightly
I suppose.
Better. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. But he got like really mad about like the existence of the book, and like that secrets were being spilled and
oh my God.
Yeah.
I remember one of our good friends was in a sorority in college, and I remember her saying like how stupid she thought some of the secrets were, and how it was like, oh, after you leave, like, because she left for a while, I guess, and it was like, well, you can't wear our merch or anything, like even to the gym or something like that. And I can't take anything that seriously that is like that. I don't know.
Yes. Yeah, that's a thing.
There's another, you know what? Nope, I'm just going to stop here. I'll just say that I am also aware of other groups that have secret initiation things, and people in those groups who are like, yeah, I'll tell you everything, whatever. And it's entertaining, and I'll leave it at that. Okay, it's a roller derby team. It's a roller derby team.
Okay. I had no idea where that was going.
Sorry. Yeah. And
thank you. You don't have to give more details than that.
I'll leave it at that. Yeah. Not my team, to be very clear. So
yeah, got it. So they have Mulder kind of laid out on a pallet, and they're starting a fire. And then it cuts again to Scully asleep in bed, and her doorbell rings. And she gets up to answer it, and it's Frohickey from the Lone Gunman, and he's drunk. And he said that he heard about that Mulder's dead and came to talk. And so Scully makes some coffee, and he shows her an article. The Thinker, was that the guy's name? The like other
the hacker. Yeah.
Yes, the hacker. Wait, was he the hack? Was it?
No, he was the Thinker is the name of the hacker that got the tapes. Yes.
Got it. Apparently his body was found in a city landfill.
Ew.
Yeah. So then we're back to Mulder and Albert, and Albert's kind of giving more information about the blessing way. One other thing I wanted to say about the ritual in general is that it's been co-opted by annoying white women for blessing their pregnancies, and that is
like
the information.
So many things that have been co-opted by annoying white women.
For real. Yeah. That was like the bulk of the information I could find was from like quote unquote rituals that you can do and like I just cannot roll my eyes hard enough.
Yeah. God, can you? Yeah. I feel like isn't that sort of the thing with rituals, that they're not something where you're like, well, let me just go on the internet and dig up some stuff I can do. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. So it shows him drawing with sand and piling branches onto Mulder, and he says that he's concerned that Mulder's spirit doesn't want to return because of his father's death. And so we see Mulder kind of like amongst the night sky, laying on his bed or whatever, and Deep Throat comes up to talk to him.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And it also shows like Mulder is kind of having a vision, or maybe it's because he's talking to Deep Throat. It shows like the aliens in that train car, and they're kind of like running around panicked.
Oh no.
And there's
oh no, the poor aliens.
They're probably just, people in suits.
Well, I mean, I know they're not real.
Yeah, okay.
I just felt sad for them. Because like we're getting into the parts of the mythology that are starting to confuse me, and that I kind of thought, well, maybe if we do a whole podcast and we watch it really closely, it'll all come together, like I was talking about before. I kind of have that I want to believe. But like, okay, these are like your traditional big-eyed, spindly gray type aliens. What about the alien bounty hunter and the green blood and the shape-shifting and all that jazz? What's the deal there? How are they related?
I think I have a theory, but I don't want to say anything because it's too early to say what I think I remember about this.
Okay.
Yeah. So that we see like a canister of hydrogen cyanide going off. So they're and so I think we're supposed to be coming to the conclusion that Deep Throat was involved in that.
Oh God. Yeah.
So then we see Mr. Mulder talking to Mulder. Bill Mulder, some call him. And he called him Fox, so the name Fox for a boy, speaking of annoying white women, maybe. But I had always been really tempted to use that as a name or a middle name for one of my kids.
Ooh,
I love the name Fox, and it makes me think of the X-Files, and I don't know. But then it occurred to me as I was like thinking about this and watching this episode, is he named that because of the network? Do you think?
No. Oh, no.
Yeah.
And would he be NBC Mulder if
National Broadcasting Mulder?
Yeah. God, that's an interesting question. I have to think no, but also I don't know. Oh God.
Yeah.
I bet that's something we could find out.
Probably. I did once meet my youngest son, Hugo, went to a Montessori school. This is just like the theme is like things annoying white women do.
Okay.
That's today's episode theme instead of Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
There was a family at his Montessori preschool who had a child named Turtle.
No.
Yes. Yep. Swear to God. Zach was there. He'll back me up.
Were they like Entourage fans? Isn't that a character on Entourage?
Not that I picked up on, but yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. I mean, is it better or worse than Espen? Like
what's Espen?
ESPN.
Is that ESPN? Is that real, or is that one of those
Oh, I don't know.
Because you know how like those memes
urban
go around.
legends.
And, yeah, urban legends. Exactly. Yeah. I mean,
I don't know.
yeah.
That one I'm not sure, but I have met, and she was very nice. Her parents were very nice.
Oh, Turtle's a girl's name. Okay.
Turtle's a girl's name. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Or like, like Remington, like, which is kind of like also the name of a gun. Like Turtles, at least. I like
cute.
Turtles. Yeah.
It's cute. I do like Turtles. Yeah. I just listened to the episode of How Did This Get Made about the Dana Carvey movie Master of Disguise, which is I never saw, but I've seen clips of it, and it's famously bad. And there's this whole scene where he's trying to get into a club pretending to be like a turtle man, and he keeps saying turtle, turtle, turtle. Yeah, so I just picture that, and it's not good. So I think I was picturing kind of Dana Carvey's character in that movie, but it's a child.
No,
anyway.
like a 5-year-old girl. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Bill Mulder is talking to Fox Mulder and is saying, if you die now, the truth will die. And Mulder asks him about Samantha and if she's there. And he says, no, she's not there. Or she's not here.
Oh, so she's alive, in other words.
Presumably.
Yes. Or in hell.
Yeah. Well, are we going to assume Deep Throat and Bill Mulder are in heaven? Because that seems like kind of a stretch.
Yeah, it would. Yeah. I guess I just picture them in sort of a intermediate zone.
Yeah. Maybe.
Where you float. Yeah. Where they're just kind of like around. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So back at FBI headquarters, and Scully is entering through the front door, and
Sorry. Wait.
You just remembered what's going to happen?
Yep. Ah! Okay.
And so she's talking to the guard, and he's, kind of like, oh, you have to come in through the front door. And it's because she's suspended. Right. And she goes through the metal detector and it goes off. And so he does like a wand thing over her and was like, oh, I don't know, could just be something small.
Yeah.
So she's up in Skinner's office, and she's there because she wants the bullet that was found in the Thinker to be compared to the one found in Mulder's dad's body, which seems smart.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Skinner is just like, no, go home. You're not supposed to be here. And asks her where the tape is. And says, no, just, let us do our jobs. And then once Scully leaves, we see Cigarette Smoking Man had been in the next room and kind of comes in.
Yeah. And so Skinner's got to say that to like protect himself, protect Scully. Yeah.
Right. And so Scully is walking out and goes back to the guard with the metal detector and asks him to run the wand over her again. And I don't know what makes her do that. But she does, and it goes off then when it gets to the back of her neck.
Yep.
So it shows her going to get an X-ray, and there's a small fragment embedded in her soft tissue, and the doctor thinks that it could be shrapnel, and says, do you want me to take it out? And she does.
Yeah.
So then back in New Mexico, we see Albert kind of helping Mulder drink water, that after 3 days of chanting, he finally woke up and asked for water. So that's good.
Oh, good. Very good.
So back in the lab, the doctor looks at the fragment and says it's definitely not buckshot. He's looking at it under a microscope. And he calls her over, and she looks, and it looks like a computer chip.
Ooh. When did we start chipping dogs?
Oh,
because this reminds me a lot of that.
I don't know. It's a good idea, though, especially for my dogs.
Yeah.
So it shows her talking to Melissa, her sister, about it, and showing her, in the vial. And Melissa wants her to go do regression hypnosis to return the memory of how it got there. And there's some like kind of, I don't know, Melissa annoys me in the scene in that.
Annoying white woman?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With her hippie sort of co-opted knowledge. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And she wants Scully to like open her mind and, and so Scully finally agrees to do it. And so we see her at the hypnotist, and she's, being led through a series of breaths, whatever. I'm always concerned that I'm going to accidentally get hypnotized when TV shows do this. which I
Well,
know is not how it works, but
yeah, I mean, you know about like me and that hypnosis incident at Great America?
vaguely. Have we talked
I
about this
was,
already? I can't remember.
I don't think so. I was a freshman in high school. We went to Fright
Mm,
Fest. It was October and it was really rainy and there was like a hypnotist show and we went to it once and like, yeah, I mean, it was like stupid, like,
yeah.
they get volunteers up on the stage and they make them think that the guy is invisible. So then when he moves a mask around, they think it's floating and he gets them to dance like Peewee Herman and I don't know, some other stuff. I don't remember. But then we went again because it was still raining or whatever. We decided to go a second time. And I raised my hand to be a volunteer.
Mhm.
And I don't know, I'd already seen the show, so I don't really know what I thought the point was. But I was not called on, but someone near me was. So I just went on stage and was like, well, he's not going to tell me no because that'll make him look bad. Um, and I was not hypnotized at all. And it was really awkward.
Oh
And
God.
yeah, it was like they kind of like at some point, him or one of his assistants kind of came over and did like a go to sleep thing and like kind of put my head down. And it was like a clearly
Oh God.
like we're just going to remove her from the equation. And I was like, fine, I'll just sit here with my eyes shut. I'm like, I don't want to have to pretend to dance like Pee Wee Herman or watch
Oh
you move a
God.
mask around. Yeah.
Oh, how
So,
embarrassing.
so I mean, I was trying to get hypnotized and I was
Hmm.
not. So I feel like a TV hypnotist, I bet you'd be fine.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
don't know.
uh I would love to try that same thing with myself since I don't know how Pee Wee Herman dances.
I mean,
I'd
I
love to
think you
see.
have, I don't know. I don't think the hypnosis gives you the knowledge of how Pee Wee
Well,
Herman
right,
dances.
exactly. So what would happen?
Ooh, interesting.
That's my question.
Oh, that is a good question.
Yeah. Anyway, so she seems
You
to
don't
be
know
kind
how
of
he
remembering.
dances?
No, I don't. I have always been alarmed by Pee Wee Herman and so have
Oh,
avoided anything having to do with him forever and
you
plan
haven't
to.
seen Pee-wee's Big Adventure?
Nope, I have not, and I won't. And I've come home when Zach and the kids have been watching something once, I think they did, and was just like, "Oh, I'm going to read. I'll be in the bedroom."
It's one of my favorite movies. It's so good. It's and like I didn't like his show for kids, but like Pee-wee's Big
Yeah.
Adventure is so good. There and like just there's so many absurd words. I actually was thinking of it earlier in this episode because there's a part when we're talking about like bad things some character had done or something. There's this part where he's like, I've done things you couldn't understand and you wouldn't understand. I don't know. There's this whole bit and it
Hmm.
reminded me of that. Not, I didn't
Oh,
remember it well enough to bring it up, but I mean, I was like already thinking about it today. So,
wow.
I mean, but I guess you shouldn't watch it at the very least because you don't want to learn how he dances in case you have the opportunity to get hypnotized and we find out,
Exactly. Yes. And
yeah.
that is the reason I will now be using for why I won't watch it. So Scully is kind of seems to be remembering when she was abducted. And she kind of talks for a little bit, but then she suddenly like gets startled and is like, this isn't working and leaves.
Hmm.
Um,
Okay.
and I couldn't tell if we were supposed to think that like she remembered something and was like, oh no, this isn't working and leaves, or if that was the truth, you know?
Mhm.
And so she goes home and she sees Skinner leaving her apartment.
What?
Yeah. So we're back to Mulder and him and Albert are talking. And there's like some other guys with them who had been participating in the ceremony and they tell him that he can't bathe or change clothes for 4 days. And Mulder makes a joke about his social life, but seems, relatively healed.
Yeah.
And there's some little boys that have a gift for him, and it's a bag of sunflower seeds because apparently he'd been
Oh,
asking for them during his worst
oh,
fevers, which,
oh,
yeah, I thought was very cute.
yeah.
So Scully calls Skinner and is like, hey, why'd you come to see me? And he just like flat out refuses. No, he wasn't there. He wasn't there. And then he hangs up and cigarette smoking man is sitting right there. So,
Oh my God. Okay. Does that
yeah.
guy like leave Skinner alone ever?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Mm.
I mean,
Yeah.
we later see a glimpse of his apartment, and from what I remember, it's pretty sad. And or maybe
The
we have
cigarette
already.
smoking man?
When
Cigarettes?
Mulder,
Okay.
yeah, and it's just kind of like dingy. So I don't know. Maybe he likes to hang out at the FBI. Well,
Like somebody who's not happy at home, so they spend all their time at work.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So we see Scully have a dream of Mulder kind of talking to her about his experience with the Navajo a little bit. So she's like having a dream where, I mean, we see Mulder talking with like stars in the background, and then we see Scully sit up in bed. But he'd been like talking to her, and it seemed less like a dream.
Okay. Like some sort of psychic link or something.
Yeah. So then we see Bill Mulder's funeral, and Scully is there, and she goes to talk to Mrs. Mulder, whose first name I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know that I do either.
And she tells her that she has a very strong feeling that Mulder will be okay. And Mrs. Mulder says something like, you know, oh, why do you think that? And Scully goes, I just know it. I just have a really strong feeling. And Mrs. Mulder seems okay with that. I don't know. Like, I would be like, leave me alone, or what more information do you have? I don't know. She's just kind of like believes her. I don't know.
Huh. I mean, I guess I would be thinking either it's just like a meaningless platitude that someone is saying to me, or on the other hand, I might be thinking, well, you're his partner. You know something. Okay. Can you tell me more? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. And Well-Dressed Man is there, and he asks to talk to Scully after they're done talking.
Okay.
And he says that he is a member of a global consortium, and that they would be threatened by the tape she had. And she says something like threatened enough to murder. And he says, oh, yes. And he tells her that they'll kill her in one of two ways. One that involves two men who basically like sneak up on her when she's alone and kill her with an unregistered weapon. And the other way is that someone she knows might lure her to a meeting.
Oh.
And he says he's basically protecting her because her death will cause too much attention to go to them. And she asks him, you know, what sort of business are you in? And he says he's in the business of predicting the future. And the best way to predict the future is to invent it. Which I would love to have on like an inspirational poster, but know that it was a line from the X-Files.
It does sound like the sort of like bullshit that like would be in like a business self-help sort of seminar to get you jazzed up about selling or something.
Yes. Yeah. Tony Robbins sort of a thing.
Yeah.
So Mrs. Mulder goes home, and Mulder is there. Fox Mulder is there waiting for her and says he needs her help.
House. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, Scully was right. We know Scully was right. I'm just, you know.
Right. I don't know why I'm surprised. I guess I didn't know he was home that quickly.
Yeah, me neither.
Okay.
I don't know how he got home that quickly, in fact, but whatever. Yeah. He says he needs her help. And so he starts asking her about like, what sort of work did Dad do? And shows her a picture of his dad in the 70s. And it's asking like, who are these men who are in the picture with him? And she says like, you know, no, she doesn't know their names anymore. She doesn't know who they are, doesn't remember. Not super helpful.
Yeah.
So Scully walks into her apartment. It's night. And as she's walking in the door, Melissa calls.
Uh-oh.
And Melissa says, like, you know, she was kind of worried about her with how she left the hypnotist's office, hypnotherapist, whatever, hypnotist.
Wait, Melissa was there? Did she like go with her?
I don't know.
Or did the hypnotist there, call Melissa and be like, just so you know, which would be really shady.
Yeah. And she's worried about her. And so she's going to come over. And so then the phone rings again, and Scully picks it up and answers kind of like, yes, or hi, or something, like thinking it's Melissa again.
Melissa, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it's just a click.
Ooh.
And so remembering presumably what Well-Dressed Man said, that two men might be coming for her, she calls Melissa again and leaves a message on her voicemail. and saying like, hey, I'm going to come over there instead, basically.
Oh, no. I think I just remembered something.
Uh-huh.
Oh, no.
And gets a gun from a drawer because she had to turn in, her weapon and her badge because she's on leave, but apparently she had another one.
Okay.
And so she's leaving her apartment and Skinner pulls up and he tells her to get in the car. And it's clear that she's like concerned that now it's the other way that well-dressed man said someone could be coming for her. And he says like, no, I want to talk somewhere safe. And so they end up at Mulder's apartment and Skinner goes
that
first.
Be somewhere safe? You don't have the answer for that.
I don't have the answer for that.
I'd want to go to like, I don't know.
IHOP?
Yeah, I don't. I see. Yeah, that was my first thought was like an all-night diner. But then I was like, but then you could be seen. So maybe not.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not sure where I would go for a secret meeting.
Yeah. I don't have that many.
Yeah. Yeah.
Although that's what I'd tell you.
That is what you'd tell me.
Yeah. So they walk in. Skinner walks in first, and Scully pulls a gun on him and says, don't think I won't do it, you son of a bitch.
Oh my God.
Which is pretty great. But then it shows Melissa using her spare key to get into Scully's apartment because she had left before she got the voicemail.
Yeah.
And Krychek shoots and kills her.
Oh, yep. I didn't realize Melissa died this early in the X-Files.
I did not either. And I mean, maybe is she found and okay? I can't remember. She is shot and appearing to be dead.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure she's dead.
I'm pretty sure too. I think that, but I can't remember all the details. Yeah. And they turn her over and see that she's not Scully and leave.
Come on, Krychek.
Yeah, for real. So he says, Skinner says that he didn't come there to kill Scully, but to show her something, that he has the digital tape, that he was the one to take it out of the desk. Yeah.
Hey. Oh my God.
Yeah. And so they see the shadow of someone kind of lurking outside the door, and Scully gets like distracted for a moment and looks away. And then Skinner pulls a gun on her, and they're kind of pointing at each other. And that's the end of the episode.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So Mulder is with his mom.
Yes. Mulder is with his mom.
Died.
Yep. Presumably Melissa has also just died.
Yeah. Oh man.
And Scully and Skinner have their guns trained on each other. Skinner has the tape.
Man.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. But
there is a lot going on. Yeah.
TBD. I mean, not until next week, I guess.
Yeah, paperclip. Ooh.
Paperclip. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just that I can't remember that. Just that the name of the episode makes me go, oh, paperclip.
I mean, I
think it was a code word or something.
It's a reference to Operation Paperclip, which is the name for the operation that we were talking about last week, where America brought over German scientists and engineers. So,
right. Okay. That was the name of it.
Yeah.
I see.
But I don't know how it's going to relate to all the stuff from this week. So
yeah, cool. That's it.
Yeah,
that's all I got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Then so I suppose we can wrap it up there.
Yeah, we should get some answers. Any spooky stories or other?
No, I don't believe we have any spooky stories.
Okay.
You and I will still have to talk about doing our recording in a hotel somewhere haunted.
Yes.
But yeah, let us know if you have stories, listeners, and like take the extra 10 seconds to, click like or leave a review or whatever, or follow us. We would appreciate it. That would be great. Yes.
It would be.
Yeah.
All right. Until next week. Bye.
Till next week. Bye.